Hello everybody, this is Tashika Lawson and I am with the Historic Westside Revitalization. So today is October the 19th and it is Tuesday and it is 5:03. So today I actually wanted to discuss something that I think isn't addressed often enough and I believe should be on our radars. So one of the things that you will look around when you're walking or driving around the West Side is just the lack of everyday amenities that you see everyone else enjoying all over the city. So out on drives, you're going to be driving around town, you're going to be seeing things that you need. Things like I need to stop and get an oil change. Things like I actually need to go and drop off my kids so that I can go. I need a play place for my kids to be able to hang out. I need to do their birthday parties, or maybe I need to go and get something mended. This lack of amenities is actually going to be one of the big problems that we're actually seeing, and this is something that we are going to need the help of not only the government and citizens. We're also going to need the help of just everyday businesses. So if you are a business that's currently located outside of the West Side and you've been looking for a new home because of one reason or another, we're currently in need of showing an actual need for businesses in this area. So these are going to be the people who open things like children's daycares. Like as you hear, we have kids playing in the background. So we currently have assets that don't actually have tenants that will be able to come in and improve those assets, and by assets I mean buildings, existing businesses, and those are the things that are desperately needed for us to be able to see actually increase the overall equity and value inside of the West Side. So if you're driving around, you'll also see things that are like staples, things that bring people to an actual into places of business, into engines of commerce. So when was the last time that you just saw a pizza place? When's the last time when you were moving that you called over to get some Chinese food? We'll say something simple like where do you go to buy a hammer that isn't Walmart in your neighborhood? And these are those things that we need to make sure are getting addressed inside of the West Side. We need to actually see businesses coming to the West Side, and we need to see people who are interested in truly supporting Black business being able to come from all over Las Vegas to actually patronize these places, to actually help to get them off the ground. This is going to be incredibly important for the actual survival and sustainability of this neighborhood. It's not just a grocery store, because I'm sure that you go into a grocery store and you leave and some people are going to go and get their nails done. Some people are going to want to go to the gym. It's those things that are going to keep us there, keep everybody wanting to come and actually stop leaving the West Side to be able to put back in. So as you see, one of the things that we've heard about is that they plan on actually creating new medical assets inside of the West Side, not only the historical area, but all over the West Side. And one of those things is a hospital. So I'm actually directly across from the Summerlin not Summerlin. I believe it's the Sunrise Hospital that's going to be off of Rainbow. So this is actually a perfect example of an actual shopping center that actually is using an existing asset to kind of actually bring value to the area. So across from here is the hospital. We've got a dentist office, we've got a smoke shop, Pilates, we have an actual child's care center, we've got pizza. These are the things, this is actually it's not 100% full, but this is a site that's activated all the time. And because of the fact that it has something that is called programming, we actually have not only was there a vision for what was happening at the hospital, people seeing the actual need to be able to have different things like that. And then right behind this is an actual apartment complex. That's important because these three things are actually going to feed into each other. The people who live in the apartment complex are probably going to just walk down the street to be able to get some pizza or to be able to get some of the ice cream that may be in over here. We have a gym. You may not want to go all the way outside of your neighborhood. So, and then with the children's center right over here, then you don't have to worry so much about maybe is childcare going to be close to me? Is there so we need to start thinking about things along those terms. If we're able to start actually just keeping what we're looking for in the neighborhood and actually starting to support and patronize businesses, like if you are a printing company, I'm sure there are a lot of new businesses that actually are going to be going inside of the West Side. So please reach out to your economic developers in the city of Las Vegas or in the state and say you would like to figure out a way to work to actually get into the West Side. From what we can see, the governor's office does actually have its eyes on the West Side for economic development. They're actually really, we see a lot of movement with people trying to actually help get the West Side of Las Vegas, and I'm talking about the historic West Side, the actual home of the Black community, to actually be a great place for people to want to come, want to live. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen on its own. It's going to take everybody's interest, everybody's support for us to be able to get things like this off the ground. So those are the things that I wanted to make sure that are on here for today. But we will let you know that we have a couple of meetings that are planned later on this week to be able to talk to people who may be able to actually help us get things activated in the neighborhood. And we just want to make sure that everybody is staying engaged. Please make sure that if you have any news, that we're sharing it with each other, because what we're seeing is that by us sharing information between this organization and that organization, and you making sure that you're inviting other people to come out to community events with us. And with you, it doesn't matter if you're inviting us, just make sure that we're starting to keep if the Black community in the historic West Side used to function on a grapevine. We were able to transmit information incredibly quickly, and we were able to have a very good vetting process for making sure that everything that we needed was actually inside of the West Side. And the only way that we're going to actually be able to promote sustainability and be able to get new businesses and bring new families that are not going to look down on this area to the West Side is by us sharing information, identifying things that are needed, and then actually starting to invite people in and say, hey, I see that you may be an optometrist. Have you actually considered maybe opening your own place of optometry? And we may be able to use an asset like that inside of the West Side. By us being able to identify these things that are absolutely crucial for the success of our neighborhood, we have to be able to start looking at things through different lenses. We have to actually start looking at things where do we want our families to be? How are we going to keep our grandkids from selling the properties that we're in, or that our mothers are in, or that our grandmothers are in? How do we keep them from not seeing the legacy that we're trying to pass on as a burden? And the way that we do that is by looking at the stuff that we need now and making sure that it's there for them when they take over these properties, when they actually get these assets, because they're not burdens. Having property is one of the biggest contributors to having an actual, starting your generational wealth. And that's not only just the properties that your family owns from the residential side. That's actually having new places of business. Maybe we can actually get together and start purchasing larger swaths of land to actually start developing our own commercial centers. These are where we actually have to start thinking, because if you put together $20 and I put together $20, and before long we may be able to start actually putting together and having these investments, these community investments that are absolutely crucial for the long-term success of our neighborhoods. So we're trying to keep the video short, but hopefully you guys found some value in this video. Hopefully we'll be able to start looking and seeing some of the things that are absolutely crucial for us to be able to, go out there and get. We don't only need dialysis centers. We don't only need histolic medicine. We don't need a plethora of medicine when we don't have things like an actual animal hospital in the neighborhood. Let's start addressing the things that are not only going to bring people here, but are going to keep them here and make them want to come back here. So that is the video for today. And we just wanted to make sure that if you are tuning in and that you actually want to see the change, be the change. Help us start identifying the things that are absolutely necessary, the things that you see your kids picking you up and taking you out of the neighborhood to do. Because those are the things that we need to bring to the West Side. Because if we can bring them there, then there's no reason for the money to leave it. We can keep the money, we can keep the wealth, we can actually create new engines of commerce, we can actually create new places for our families to actually get jobs, get training, and actually just start moving into the future. So that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, you're probably will get a comment, but if you did, please make sure that you share this, because we can get there, we'll get there faster together. So this is Tashika with the Historic Westside Revitalization, and good night to everybody.